Integrity Program. So Integrity Watch is a 1-hour radio program brought to you by the Center for Transparency and Accountability in Liberia. It runs from 11 to 12 noon, and it is the primary radio-based communication and information dissemination platform of Central. This program is relayed on Prime FM in Monrovia. Prime FM has a frequency of 105.5 FM. It is a key advocacy tool that provides essential information around the state of the fight against corruption, national integrity building efforts, as well as promotes the culture of accountability, transparency, integrity, and evidence-based decision-making across all sectors of Liberia. Under Center's National Integrity Building Anti-Corruption Program, funded by the government and people of Sweden through the Swedish International Development Cooperation Agency, or SIDA, the radio program serves as an engagement coordination platform that rallies citizens and other stakeholders' support for the fight against corruption and bad governance. As part of this program, Center has established the Advocacy and Legal Advice Center, known as LACC. The LACC is an independent platform that enables citizens to freely report and seek redress to corruption and other integrity-related issues. So we encourage our people to report issues about corruption or integrity related to our LACC. There are a team of professionals, including lawyers at LACC, who are willing and ready to respond to whatever complaint you may file. So there are different means you can contact our LACC. We have an email address. It's alac@cental.org.lr. It's alac@cental.org.lr. So you have the Facebook address. It's Central LACC. You can contact us. And you can be, and we have also the short code number. So both GSM can call the number is 4432. So it's 4432. You just dial that number, whether you have zero balance, you can call. Just charge your battery and you can make a call and report issues about corruption. Again, only when you have issue to report. When you have issue to report, you call the number and report, not just to abuse the number. Please, not because we say it is free, so you can just call it at any time and get a phone to your children to play with the number. Please, let's take this business to be very serious. We are all doing this for us to make our country a better place. That is the reason why we have come to join this effort. We have said over and over that the fight against corruption cannot be won by the government alone. It requires all of us. In your homes, in your workplaces, in the traffic, wherever you find yourself, we can do this together. Together, we are stronger. So the Integrity Watch, we have walk-in service center is located just opposite the John F. Kennedy Medical Center. You can just come there and report issues about corruption, or you want to seek legal advice, you can come. If you want to have access to information, you are welcome. We welcome people. We are just opposite the John F. Kennedy Medical Center. Just come upstairs and be able to interact with our staff. The Integrity Watch radio program is very civil and informative, with zero tolerance on the use of invectives and other denigrating comments. So guests appearing on this platform, they are guided by the rule. So today is Thursday, November 25th, 2021, and 2021. And this edition of the program is playing host to a team from the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission. And we are going to be discussing the upcoming International Anti-Corruption Day celebration slated for December 9 across the globe. So in studio today, we have Mr. James Kingsley. He's the Manager, Education and Prevention, LACC. Mr. Alfred D. Karnely. Mr. Alfred Karnely is the community relations officer at the LACC, and he is in the Department of Education and Prevention. So the both of them are in studio today for us to talk about issues about the upcoming International Anti-Corruption Day. So before we go to little things that matter, let us welcome our guests in studio. Mr. Kingsley, welcome to studio.
Thank you, sir.
James, welcome.
Alfred.
Thank
you.
Okay.
So much.
Okay.
It's a pleasure being in studio.
It's good to have you here, and the both of you are debuts, the first time appearing on this platform.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. Welcome. We're going to be very friendly with our discussion. And the theme for this year's celebration is your right, your role, say no to corruption, right?
Yeah,
International theme. Okay, so we're going to get to our guests. But before we go to our guests, let us go to the next segment of our program called Little Things That Matter. One of the little things that matter, we want to say today to remind you and to tell you that today is International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women. So it's an International Day for the Elimination of all forms of violence against women. So it marks the beginning of the 16th day of activism. So the 16th day of activism starts today and it ends December 10th, 2021. So we want to say, let all of us join the efforts to eliminate all forms of violence against our women, our girls, and our children. So we can't do this. It cannot happen without all of us putting our hands together and working together from wherever you find yourself in your homes. That's the main place we're supposed to make sure that we end violence against women, and then we can take it to the national scene. So let us join this. The theme for this celebration is Orange the World, End Violence Against Women Now. Orange the World, End Violence Against Women Now. That's the theme. So we want to talk about a few things quickly, and then we'll come to our guests so that we can talk about the International Anti-Corruption Day that's slated for December 9. We want to talk about the proliferation of drugs in our country. It's a serious matter now. And if we are not careful, the future of our country is doomed. What we see on the streets and in different places is seriously alarming. And what I'm seeing, if the government is not cautious enough to drastically deal with the suppliers and not placing more focus on the consumers, I think we are going to be missing the link. The missing link we see here is we are not tackling the suppliers. Where is the drug coming from to proliferate on our market? There are people who are supplying the drugs on the market. Are we thinking about tackling them? We must engage them head on. And we must be very serious in passing the drug law. We can continue to play lip service with this issue about passing law, and not even passing laws are not enough. We need to pass laws and make sure that we drastically, holistically implement them. So we must deal with this issue. Let's focus more on the suppliers. Who are those suppliers the drugs? It is seriously harming our country and the future of our generation. This generation is doomed if nothing is done to tackle the issue of drugs on the market. And the next thing I want to talk about is we continue to see the use of extreme force by the Liberia National Police and state actors or security actors to disperse crowd. I mean, we are aware that there are different forces that the police supposed to deploy in order to disperse crowd. Only extreme force being used in most instances. The latest being the one in Douala, where 3 persons are reported dead. We are concerned about this. We are very much concerned about this. There are still weapons worldwide known as the crowd control weapons. So the crowd control weapons are non-lethal weapons that are used to be able to control crowd, but we see nowadays the police frequently using lethal weapons to disperse crowd, I think this is seriously becoming alarming, and we must deal with it. And deal with it. The police need to come, go to the drawing board to know that we cannot continuously use live bullets in this crowd all of the time. People, lives are being lost. Our citizens' lives are being lost. We must correct this and this now. I think the best thing to do that you know it best. You are the one who's trained to do this. You know what type of force to use to disperse which crowd. If the crowd is armless and you're using live bullets and lethal weapons, I mean, this is wrong. We do not support people rioting and looting people's property. We have said this on this platform over and over, and we identify places where police needed to wait. We will not stop, but we are equally asking the police to do it and do it in a way best that we can be able to control it, not to cause human casualties. I think in dealing with it, you know how to deal with these matters to avoid human casualties as we continue to witness across the country. Straight over our guests so that we can gain the ball rolling. Let's take a break.
Creating programs that enhances education and awareness, working with CSOs, with schools, faith-based organizations to send out a message out there to educate people about the danger of corruption and the benefit of eradicating corruption. That's what we do. So our work is to bring up programs that will speak to awareness on the danger of corruption, what we can do to mitigate the danger, and what are the benefits for eradicating corruption. So from my end, that's what we do to help the community know what we are.
Very, very important, because one thing that we know, and it is a fact, the best way to fight corruption is to give the knowledge to the people, to tell them what corruption is and how to identify corruption.
Yeah.
So it's very important. So of late, what are the communities that you've been engaging with, and different places that you've been going?
Basically, I just got employed with
Okay.
the LACC, but I can speak to some issues that I know of.
Yes, sure.
There are currently some schools that we have established integrity clubs with,
Okay.
and those clubs are still functional.
All right.
All right, we are intending to get back to work right after this IECD program, because right now everything's IECD.
Of course.
So after the IECD program, we'll be getting out there to do more. In fact, we invited a couple of schools to be part of this program, and as part of this program, after this program, the school that we invited to be part of this program will go after those schools and ensure that the clubs are extended to those schools.
Great.
Yeah. So aside from that, we are working on establishing community anti-corruption community cells,
Okay.
because we believe one of the ways to fight corruption is to bring the people on board.
Of course.
So this idea speaks to bring the people on board, make them a part of the fight, because we can fight and win in isolation. We know that. So this anti-corruption community cell will have to do with breaking cells, bringing people together in communities across the 15 districts, 17 districts of Montreal County and the 15 counties.
All right.
But it begins with Montreal, and we'll roll it out, we'll test it, we'll give it a trial, and after it succeeds, we'll see the changes we had along the way, work on it, and we can roll it out into the other counties. So currently, that's what we're planning on to do.
And
Very important. I think
just to reinforce some of that point is that
Okay.
the establishment of the anti-corruption community is an innovation that Alfred brought, as he told you that he just joined our team,
Okay.
and it's an innovation that is very highly appreciated.
Okay.
You know, in the fight against corruption, one of the challenges we've had in Liberia has been this diminishing public trust. And the reason why we have a situation of diminishing public trust is that the public is not seeing much from national government. The anticipated results in the fight against corruption is coming at a snail pace.
Okay.
And that discourages the public. And in a fight against corruption, you need public participation. If you don't have the participation of the public, of course, your fight against corruption is not sustainable. There must be a buy-in by the community. There must be a buy-in by the public, who are considered as key anti-corruption stakeholders, so as to be able to report and expose corruption in places.
Okay.
Because those of us who are in the anti-corruption community of practice, we are not omniscient. We are not everywhere at all times. We're not omnipresent. And as a result of that, we depend on information to be able to engage and make intervention at different levels, at community level, at county level, and all of that. And so the anti-corruption community cell is an innovation that we want to really develop and use, go from community to community and educate people about corruption, its danger, the different forms and manifestation and dimension of corruption, so that people at community level, our citizens at community level, understand fully what corruption is, what the manifestations are, and how we can be able to mitigate corruption even at the community level. Sometimes when we talk about corruption, people think it's only in national government or people who are in public offices. But if take for example, you have a leadership of a center, people come there and they donate, and there's no accountability. But meanwhile, you get those centers, they are criticizing people in national government. The change that we want must begin with us. So in the fight against corruption, we need to establish that it's important. Education and prevention is the for fight Liberia. As an educator, education is defined as an enduring change in behavior. This is not just this is about behavior modification and behavior change. If people internalize the values of integrity, the core value of honesty, of that, they internalize them, then they can be able, it's like putting counterfeit against the real money.
Yeah.
So when we get people to understand what are the values of integrity, what are the anti-corruption principles that spur a catapult nation from underdevelopment to buoyancy and development, then when people begin to appreciate and internalize those values, eventually we have a nation of people who have integrity, who are willing to go into public service and maintain the public trust without abusing it. And that is why, as part of our program, we have both generational and transgenerational program. The school program you just talked about is a transgenerational program because the current breed of people that we have are almost an endangered species.
Yeah.
We've lost almost.
Yeah, Mr. Kingsley, we will talk about that. I mean, we'll have to find time to talk about it because I want to ask a very important question that because we do community engagement.
Okay.
And out of our community engagement, we get these feedbacks from the people. You talk about that. You alluded to that about public trust has been real. So in gaining the public trust, they are saying, don't see people, the LACC is not moving in the direction that they have expected. To see people being charged, sent to court, and being sent to jail, confiscation of things, of properties, all of those things. They see them happening. So what are you hearing from them yourself? What feedback are you getting from the communities?
There is a low image in the public about the work of the LACC,
Sure.
and for the wrong reason. Sometimes they have a wrong assessment of the LACC, and I like to indicate that very clearly. For example, the LACC is taking measures to strengthen the fight against corruption. We have, I think, about 6 bills before the legislature right now. For example, the LACC, there's a bill before the legislature to amend the LACC Act to give us prosecutorial power. There's also a bill before the legislature to pass an illicit enrichment law. In Liberia, our current jurisprudence provides that the burden of proof is on the accused.
Yeah.
Yes. But when you have the illicit enrichment law, you have to provide evidence against yourself. For example, if you were working for $500, in a year's time you pay a 2-story building. Granted, that nobody knows where you got the money from, but the onus is on you to provide the source of income that you use to build that house. On the current jurisprudence, the government has to produce evidence to indicate that you got that illicitly,
which is usually sometimes
difficult to prove. But under the illicit enrichment law, the burden of proof will be on you, the accused, to adduce evidence to show how you fairly acquire that money, make the investment. So all of these things are underway, and when these bills are passed into law, the LACC capacity will be strengthened in terms of this law framework to be able to robustly fight corruption in Liberia.
There are a lot of questions coming to my mind, but I think we have to, because of time, so we have to go. But there are a lot of things that we had from the public that we really want the LACC to come on that platform. So we'll rearrange maybe people to address some of the issues.
Let's deal with the LACC and then we arrange a separate time to just deal with some of the issues.
Directly with the LACC, because we get all these people. Okay, let's get to the International Anti-Corruption Day program. What's
the International Anti-Corruption Day program? I will Alfred to just lay out the itinerary for the International Anti-Corruption Day. Alfred, if you don't mind, please go ahead.
Yeah. So for this year's celebration, we have already received the international team. I just read the logo, the right say no to corruption. But we have also called a national team.
Yeah.
And our national team is about promoting
a culture of excellence.
Promoting a culture of excellence.
Building integrity. Building character and integrity for national.
So the national national team, is promoting the culture of excellence, character building, and integrity for national prosperity and development. That's the national team. So this program is in 2 to 4. Phase 1 of this program has to do with bringing people together from all sectors to carry on sector training. So we've decided to bring together the business sector, the government sector, the learning institutions, and CSO. So we've divided the training section into 2. So the program starts from December 2 to December 3. That's phase 1, training or the seminar. And one of the seminar that starts December 2 bring together the government and the business sector. Here we'll be discussing the role of the government and the business sector in preventing corruption, right? What are the role of government and the business sector in preventing corruption? So we'll bring it together and we'll have somebody to speak to them on this topic. We'll have one, Mr. Anderson Niamen from Sintar, who will be serving as the facilitator to talk to the 2 sectors. It's like I said, training day 1 starts December 2, and it brings together those people from the government sector and those from the business sector.
Yeah, sure.
All right, so Yama will be talking on preventing corruption and promoting integrity, right? The role of the government in the business sector in preventing corruption and promoting integrity. What is the role of the government and the business sector? So for the government, we'll be looking at the police, we'll be looking at immigration, RRA, commerce. Commerce will look at the inspector division. For police, immigration, we'll be talking about those in the service area, like immigration. Those in the service area, we look at the police. Those in the service area, like those who deal with issuance of license, all right? Because the thing is, we want to promote a culture of excellence. How do we do it? Well, you have foreigners come here looking for permits. How do we even encourage them? How do we open up the gap to make it free for them? Because the system is tight. When the system is tight, people feel that you are doing something that's not normal. So we want to bring them to speed. How we can we are approaching the bicentennial celebration. We want to inculcate all of this to make the country better for investment. We want to open investment space. So the way to do it is to bring the people on board, those that are in the service area, the police, the RRA, those in the commerce inspector division, to bring them together to train them, so as to ascertain from there, or to encourage them to promote their roles in promoting integrity and
So from December 4th,
so December
9, what do we have?
Now, let me end on December 3. December 3 will bring together schools and the CSO. We've invited a list of schools talking about Tottenham High, Empofana, the High, and JJ Ravers. We're bringing them together along with some CSO to include Santal and AREC together to discuss issues. And this training will bring together or be facilitated by Oscar Bloor, who is the head of the Center for Democracy and Center for Democratic Governance. And the topic will be the role of CSOs and institutions in the fight against corruption. Okay, so he said, we have a generation that's almost fading away. So we want to bring them together to inculcate the ideas of bring them up to speed and help them to understand the fight and their role in the fight against corruption. So that would bring to an end the 2 of the
So it starts on December 2nd.
Yeah. But basically,
December 2nd, what specifically
we have a 2-part program.
Yeah.
When we are done with the training, we continue planning for the main event.
Okay.
And the planning runs from the 3rd all the way to the 8th.
Okay.
Continuous planning for the main event runs from the 3rd to the 8th. I mean from the 4th to the 8th. Then on the 9th, which is the main event, is a street parade bringing together 350 persons, which begins at the Vamuma, and then we parade from Vamuma to the Monrovia City Hall and close with an indoor program. The keynote speaker for the day is the Minister of Finance, Honorable Samuel D. Twelve.
Is there any reason why? How did we derive who's supposed to speak at this kind of occasion?
Well, normally we have a pool of individuals, prominent individuals in society from whom we select. And this year, of that pool, Mr. Samuel Twelve happened to have been the most outstanding who came out of that pool to be
So
selected.
what's the momentum? What are from the stakeholders who's supposed to be part of this? What the momentum?
There is a very huge momentum for the celebration of International Anti-Corruption Day this year. As a matter of fact, all of the integrated institutions are on board. It's unfortunately, I call you when we talked this morning. I said I wanted to bring 4 persons on board to the studio, and that was to accommodate other people like from the GC, from the BPCC, from LACC, to make sure, to give the public, to let the public know that integrated institutions are working together on the observance of on planning and the observance of International Anti-Corruption Day. So even though our colleagues are in studio with us, we just want to say kudos to them. We want to appreciate them for the level of collaboration and support they continue to lend us, and they will continue to lend us until the event is celebrated. So the PPCC, to the IA, to the FRU, to the GC, to the GAC, we want to say thank you for the level of support and coordination that we are having in the planning and the implementation.
So I think the level of support and coordination,
and even Sinta,
I want to come to a point. I understand that you should be working together, integrated institutions, apart from this celebration, working together under the NIF.
Yeah. We have that,
Is that partner?
The partnership is working well.
Very helpful in terms of the planning of this particular.
Of course, when you have individual package those money or use it for their own personal aggrandizement, it leaves the public in jeopardy. So we want to highlight this issue to place the public good over our personal interest, because at the end of the day, your family may be faring well, but it does not translate to Liberia being better. And the late Mama did the Liberia is getting better. But it's a good thing to come up with a I think Liberia is doing better, but in reality, is it really getting better? For it to get better, they will have to deal with issue of corruption squarely.
I mean, the core of everything that we do, yes, the people are, are part of it, but the people who drive the process, the legislation, who put laws together and all of these things, they are very cardinal to these kinds of activity, especially the work of the LACC and other institutions, anti-graft institutions. What level of support or commitment are you getting from our House of Elders, whether the legislature in terms of participation and what commitment are you getting from them?
To be part of the celebration of the international
corruption. This is way of engaging so that when you have people attending, then you can push forward so those things and get more feedback.
The International Anti-Corruption Day is just an event, but beyond the International Anti-Corruption Day, we are actively engaged with the House of Elders, and they've been very forthcoming. They even organized public hearing for the bills that were made to them through the office of the president, and we are getting some good indication that things are moving a bit faster, and we hope that we can get those bills passed into law, and we'll be able to accelerate the fight against corruption.
Yeah, just to add on, this year's celebration seeks to promote integrity and resilience at all levels. This year's celebration, and that's why the theme is your role, say no to corruption. So this year's celebration encapsulates almost all the sectors: government, stake actors, young people, all together. And the way we can achieve this, we read further, it says the way we can achieve this resilience and integrity across all sectors is for government to put in place legislation that protects people. Here it talks about the Whistleblower Act. This year's celebration, the UN is calling all governments around the world to institute measures that promote people who will speak on corruption issues. Now you are calling people to speak. Your role, your right, say no to corruption. How do we even get there? There's no protection. So this year's celebration even talk more about passing these pieces of legislation that support, protect people who will take on the risk to some corruption issues. So like my pastor already put it, hereafter you will see a lot more engagement in terms of speeding up those bills, because of course our aim is to ensure that all sectors are involved, including the young, the old, all stake actors, CSO, government, etc. And we can achieve that if we put aside these pieces of legislation to promote or protect people who come forward to speak. All right. So as part of what he said, he after you a robust engagement with the legislature to ensure that the passage of this bill comes.
I think I want to ask this question because it keeps coming from all of the comments. Do we really we need legislations? Yes, but there are laws on the book. Are we implementing them? Like the code of conduct, asset declaration. Do we need new law to make people to declare their assets?
Yes, and the asset declaration regime is very weak.
Yes, that's what I'm asking.
Yeah, that's what I'm telling you, right?
What about the ones who got on the book?
The laws on the books are very weak.
Why?
The current law on the books says that you are required to declare assets. There's hardly any sanction for non-compliance. There's hardly any sanction for non-compliance, except administrative sanction. Maybe the president, he suspends you, or he fires you, or maybe the chief justice suspends you for non-compliance, or the speaker suspends you for non-compliance. But do we have laws? Do we have penalties enshrined in the law that says if you don't comply, this is the penalty? We don't have that. So the law is there. It's too magnanimous to those who are required to declare. So if I don't declare, what happens to me? That is the question that anybody will ask. So somebody decides I'm challenging the regime, the asset declaration regime. I'm not declaring. So we have to be looking up to the president to act. You understand? Yeah, the rule of law it sets the basis for right and wrong. So if that person is wrong, we are looking to the president. Say, the law will apply. You understand what I'm talking about?
I understand you.
Yes. So
do we really need people to wait for penalty before they can know the law. They should be.
The experience we have had is that you have had situations where people have not applied. So what do you do then? If there's no sanction, what do you do then? So the only thing we do, we compile.
Okay, you listen to the program. What day we had this question because it keeps coming in a lot of the comments about laws and other things. But today we're talking about the International Anti-Corruption Day program. Scheduled for December 9. He said it starts from the 2nd of December. They're going to be having seminars, bringing students, bringing business people together, government. People that we can talk about how all of us can get engaged. We talk about this over and over that we cannot win this war against corruption if all sectors of the country do not come together for us to work together to make this better one. So to make Liberia a better place, it requires all of us. Let's join the fight against corruption. We can support our anti-graft institutions by reporting issues of corruption, by engaging with them and trying to expose issues of corruption in our communities. You see those things happening in the communities. The LACC is not everywhere. We not see what's happening in your community. People who come to connect posts, they're asking you to pay a certain amount of money before you get connected. The LACC is not there. So you have the brain to report the LACC so that actions can be taken. So let us join the fight against corruption. We're talking about the International Anti-Corruption Day program, scheduled for December 9. So the program you are listening to is for Integrity Watch. It's a 1-hour radio program brought to you by the Center for Transparency and Accountability in Liberia. It runs from 11 to 12 noon and is relayed on Prime every Monday. So we want to open the line so that you can participate in the program, to have comments, you have questions, ask the questions. So our guests in studio talking about the International Anti-Corruption Program. Let us focus our attention there. Like I said, we're going to invite the LACC here another time so that we can go deeper into the activities of the LACC, because there are a lot of questions that we're always getting from you members of the public. So we'll put it to the LACC when they come back on this platform. But today is about the International Anti-Corruption Day program. Let our questions and comments go toward that particular discussion. So the number to call 0779 0000691, 0779 0000691. That's the number to call to be live on the program in Targeted Watch. It's a 1-hour radio program brought to you by Central. And thanks to the government and people are suing for support through the British International Development Corporation Agency, or SIA. We have our first caller on the line. Good morning. Hello, good morning. Yeah, this is Zota. Gabriel, let's hear you. I'm hearing you, Gabriel. Let's get your comment. No, Gabriel, today we're talking about Anti-Corruption Day program coming up. Yeah, ask a question regarding the International Anti-Corruption Day. Good morning. He's listening. They are listening. We have two guests from the LACC in studio. Gabriel. Thank you, Gabriel. Okay. All right. Thank you. Your question. Okay. Thank you, Gabriel. Thank you. Your points are noted. Thank you. Gabriel is very consistent about his retirement issue. Gabriel, this is not really about retirement. I think I don't know whether it was in their purview, but it's far from the LACC's mandate. So except you want to talk about that, if you want to give chance, but if not, then we can just.
Actually, I don't think we want to speak to that right now. Let's focus on the international.
Okay, the number
it's a valid concern, But we can deal with that at that time, or the CS, you can direct his concern to the CSA.
Sure. The number to call 0779 0000691 0779 0000691. That's the number to call to be live on the program Integrity Watch, 1 hour radio program brought to you by the Center for Transparency and Accountability in Liberia. It runs from 11 to 12 noon and is relayed on Harm FM on the road. So today we're talking about the International Anti-Corruption Day program slated for December 9th, or starts on December 2nd, and there are a lot of activities lined out for this celebration. December 2nd, December 2nd to the 3rd, we'll be having trainings and other activities, and then from the 4th to the 8th, there will be planning activities going on, and December 9th will be the lead day where people are going to be brought together, stakeholders will come together to talk about, how we can get engaged with fight against corruption. So let's go to what we're talking about the law, we're talking about the code of conduct, all of that. And like I was just trying to go through the code of conduct and referring to all the asset declaration that I talked about. So what are we in, like, for the executive, the judiciary, the legislative, and all those who are in government, apart from maybe just asking the president maybe to take, else do you have in your purview that you can do to make people declare?
Well, the fundamental place to be for is the law. The law is the one, the legal framework compels everybody to comply. If the law is not there, you're not going to get the compliance of people. We can do several engagements. We can schedule a day with the legislature just to present, have a discussion. Tell them how the LACC work, how we need their support in the fight against corruption, how they need to pass into bills into law that support the fight against corruption. They do all of that, but fundamentally, there must be a law that compels people to comply.
Mr. Kingsley, you and I know in Liberia, the law, the constitution says all power inherent in the people, but practically in Liberia, it is all power inherent in the leaders. That's how it is, because they buy their way through to leadership in terms of elections. Most people go there and they dish out money, and you know that, and I know.
If I were to buy statistics and compliance, the executive is doing very well with asset declaration compliance. The judiciary is also doing very well with asset declaration compliance, but I'm not sure we even have up to 5% compliance from the legislature.
I think we got call up. Good morning.
Good morning.
The name and where are you calling from? Okay, let's hear you, Sir David.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. All right. You want to address the question by Mr. P?
Yes, and I think his question is just so timely, talking about public officials who have left government. The Access Declaration, the Code of Conduct provides that upon entering into government, you declare your asset.
Yeah.
And every 3 years after, you redeclare.
And when you are
And when you are promoted or demoted, you declare your asset. And upon exiting government, you also declare, you do an exit declaration. Asking as to whether former government officials have been verified. Yes, a good number of them have been verified because the asset declaration law provides that. It does not give us the latitude to verify every single declaration that is submitted, but we select a pool. We select a number of declarations from the pool and we verify that we set a percentage, and of that percentage is formed like a lottery. You go in there and take the number that constitutes a percentage and you verify it. We did that in the Madam Ansari regime, and recently our team just left the field verifying public officials from 2017, from the previous administration. We verify public officials, 100 public officials from the past administration. That verification process just ended, and I have just received the draft report from an Access Declaration and Verification Officer.
I mean,
so verification is being done.
Great.
Yes.
One thing is good to do all of these investigations, do all of these verifications, write reports, make recommendations. But so what? Make recommendations for things to happen, and it is there.
No. Asset verification is a very serious issue. It's not. It's no child's play.
Okay.
It's a very serious.
Yeah, we'll come to that because I'm very concerned about it. Let's go to the line. Good morning. Your name and where are you calling from? Good morning. Your name and where are you calling from? Yeah, go ahead.
Under the law, under the LACC Act, if somebody, under the Code of Conduct, if somebody declares an asset, that asset remains confidential. If you have reason to believe that there are issues with that declaration, you make an application up to the court requesting that declaration to be made public. If your request is granted by the court, you proceed to the LACC and give us the decision of the court that requires us, that compels us to make available that particular declaration to make it public. Other than that, that access declaration is only taken and verified by a percentage of total declaration is taken and is verified.
And so what? When you do the investigation, so what happens?
When we do the investigation, if we find criminal liabilities, if we establish that there are criminal liabilities, we can institute investigation and we can prosecute.
So have we had any cases?
Yes, we've had cases like that. We've even had cases where people undeclared their asset for the purpose of evading taxes, and sometimes we call and send them to the LIA to go and pay the proper tax into government revenue.
And we've had those instances.
Yes, we've had those instances.
Have we confiscated?
We've not confiscated, but if it is something of tax that you underdeclare and you give us a different declaration, and I don't want to expose all of our secrets, but we have this interagency collaboration. We found out that on the other side, you underdeclare and you keep the odds and declare properly. Then we make the comparison. We realize that you underdeclare. We can make you pay the difference into government revenue.
What are other things that are planned for the International Anti-Corruption Day program that maybe we didn't talk about?
Basically, those are the two things. We have the training that is coming up for 2 days and 4 sectors, about 2 sectors per day. We have government business sector coming on day 1, which will be the 2nd of December. And the facilitator for that session is the esteemed executive director of the Center for transparency and accountability in Liberia, who doesn't hold back his view, his thoughts on national issues. And we look forward to him being very fiery, and we're not afraid of that. We hope that others who have not heard him will have the opportunity to hear his stance on national issues and issues of corruption. And we also have Oscar Blow, who will be facilitating the session on CSO and learning institution. And you know, Oscar is an old hand in the business. He's been in this for long, and we look forward to a very exciting time during the training session. We also like to say that we like to recognize the role of the United Nations Development Program in working with us on the celebration of this International Anti-Corruption Day. And some things are still working out behind the scene, and we look forward to the trickling in between now and December 9. But we just want to tell them thank you for the level of support they are giving us also.
Cover the cord. Let's get you, Alfred.
Yeah, my boss said it all right. We are on course. The program is in 2/4. The training is now and the main event that starts from Vamuma for parade.
Okay.
We're currently in with the AFL for the marching band.
Okay.
And we've dispatched somebody already to go and get it ready. But we're hoping that between now the 8th of December, everything will be in tight. I think we've secured the hall already at the City Hall. So we're doing good. We're doing good. And I want to add my voice to my boss man to say thanks to Sinta. Sinta has been good. It's been forthcoming. I want to say thank you to you guys for the help. Also want to say thank you to our international partners who are with us, and we are hoping that before that day everything will be okay, because you can see the signs are clear on the wall, and we're hoping that the program this year will be even better.
Okay, Alfred.
And then before we close, we just want to say that this year's celebration of International Anti-Corruption Day is unique in a sense that the LACC has gone through some turbulence from one leadership to another, and finally we have a chairperson who has taken on and is doing very well.
And Tom is actually not now.
This is the maiden edition of the IACD under his watch, and we look forward to doing our very best.
All right. I want to talk about your internal control system, but I mean, we'll talk about it another time. Okay, you been listening to the program. The voices you've been hearing have been Mr. James K. Kingsley. He's the program manager, education and prevention division, LACC. Mr. Alfred D. Karnely, he's the community relations officer at the LACC. And my name is Sam Zota. The program you've been listening to is called Integrity Watch. It's a 1-hour radio program brought to you by Center. My colleague Mike Buandao has been behind the camera, making sure our visibility goes beyond the studio. Join us next Thursday for another edition of the program. Goodbye.
Yeah.